Welcome to M20 Fitness. This is class 1 of our 6 intro classes. And the whole goal of these classes is to walk you through M20 Fitness so you understand how it works, and it gives you a great way to start your exercise program with us. Our goal is to help you have a healthy relationship with exercise. So many people know that they should exercise because it's so good for them, but the problem is it's hard to get to actually doing it. So we've tried to simplify it, we've tried to make it engaging, we make it fun. What I'm going to do is walk you through movement plan number 1 in the intro class, and that's going to consist of doing a warm-up, which is what we always do in phase 1, and then phase 2 we're going to score some movements. We're going to score number 1 the squat, number 2 the sit-up, number 3 the push-up, and number 4 the one-leg balance. And then we've got a challenge, and the challenge is to complete as fast as possible, and we'll walk through that when we get to it, and then as always we'll cool down. So I'm going to take you through all 4 of those phases in this video, and I want you to do them at home with me as you're comfortable, and this will give you a sense of how the M20 movement plans flow and get you ready to jump in and participate in the movement plans that come out 3 times a week. Sound all right? Okay, so the first things first, I've got just a little bit of space here in my basement. We're going to warm up. I can put the clipboard down. This is about a 4 or 5 minute process. There's a video dedicated to this as well if you're interested in doing this at any point in time. But we start with making small arm circles to the front with our thumbs facing forward. This is getting those little muscles warmed up. And then with your thumbs to the back, some circles to the back. The goal of the warm-up is to get your mind and body ready for exercise. If you've got a routine that you really enjoy, open your palms. We're going to go side to side. If you've got a routine that you really enjoy, I recommend you use that. It doesn't have to be this particular warm-up, as long as your mind and body end up being ready to do the exercises that follow. That's what really matters. I'm going to make sure I don't hit this post here. This is going to be important for my squats in a little bit. But we're doing big twists all the way. My back foot is coming up, my heel is rather. I'm coming up onto my toe. See the way my left foot now is up, my heel's down, and I'm just twisting my entire body as much as I can. You'll find that in the warm-up, we don't do as much stretching. That's more for the cool down. The warm-up's more about getting the blood flowing, getting the muscles ready to go. So I'm starting with my hands on my side, and one's going to come forward and the other arm goes back and then meet up top. And I'm going to spin. So I'm making large circles in opposite directions with my arms now. And I'm getting a little bounce in my hip, as you can see, as my arms come down. I'm going to exaggerate that as I get comfortable with it and take it down further. This is really getting the whole body warmed up now. If you get lost, just go ahead and start again. Arms at the side. One goes front, one goes back. They meet up top, and then they swing in opposite directions, making full circles and meeting up top again. Excellent. Now we're going to take it up to the head and do some neck rolls one way. And the other way. Now we're going to hold our hips still, and our upper body is going to rotate in one direction. And the other direction. Now I'm going to hold my shoulders still, and my hips are going to rotate in one direction. You may be wondering why there's big beams here. This is going to help me with the squat when we get to scoring that movement. And the other direction. You don't need a lot of space really to do a lot of great movements, as M20 will show you. Down to the knees now. I want you to keep your hips still. Just rotate those knees. Get those ankles spinning a little bit. And the other way. And you don't need a lot of props either, but there are some props we'll need as we go through the movements. Today, some kind of beam that will support your weight is really all you need. I'm going to use it in a couple different ways. So now what I want to do is bring one foot up, try and get my thigh parallel to the ground. Use the beam for support if you'd like. Rotate your foot one way and then the other. And point and flex that toe a little bit. And then I'm just going to drop that leg and swing it back and forth. Doesn't matter how high it's going, just letting it go back and forth. Maybe a little bit further each time as my muscles get ready. Excellent. Now we'll do the same thing with the other leg. Hold it if you'd like, or if you don't need to, but we'll just rotate the foot one direction, and then the other, and then point and flex. Excellent. We'll go ahead and kick that back and forth, swing the leg, get that hip loosened up, those leg muscles going. You can feel the core both on the front and the back, getting a nice stretch. Excellent. Okay, now go ahead and get a nice wide stance with your toes pointing forward. I want you to lean out to one side, and I put my hands down and support some of my body weight. And what we're going to do is twist until our toes are pointed in this direction. Step into that just a touch. Twist back so our toes are facing forward again. Now shift over to the left side. Sorry, the beam's getting in the way a touch. We're going to point our toes now to the left, or this direction in which I'm leaning. Step into that a touch. And toes back to the middle. And I'm just going to lower myself. And then bend my knees before I start coming up. Now I'm basically ready. I like to just kind of take another extra 10 or 15 seconds to make sure I'm feeling all right. From my head all the way down to my toes, everything feels loose. Maybe some jumps, some twist. Shake it out a little with my arms. Now I think we're ready to begin. Okay, so that's the warm-up phase. That happens before we start, or as the start of every movement plan. And then we score some of the 20 movements. M20 has culled down all the things you could do to this list of 20 movements that we believe are the most helpful. And if you focus on mastering these and you do them properly and regularly, you'll have confidence in your body for the journey ahead. So we score all of these 20 movements, and over time what you get is a FitDex, an aggregate score that says how well you're doing these 20 movements. The FitDex will come later, don't worry about that. So the first movement we're going to do is the squat. And at level 1, all these movements actually have 3 levels. We're going to start at level 1. So I'll come back to my post. I can use a kitchen sink, I can use anything. It's called arm assist squat. So I'm going to support some of my body weight with my arms by holding something very solid like this. Scoring it, let me show you the movement first. So my feet are shoulder width apart, my toes are pointed slightly outwards, my hands holding this beam. I'm going to begin with my bottom going backwards and my body weight staying on my heels, down until my thighs are parallel to the ground, and then the hands can help pull myself back up, but I stand until I'm straight again. Now the key to this movement is making sure your body weight's on your heels, your chest is up, your bottom is back, and come back up. So that's a rep. What we're going to do to score the movement is I'm going to start the clock for 2 minutes, and we're going to score as many reps as we can in those 2 minutes. So if you need to pause it for a sec to make sure you've got a good place for your arm assists, feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to start the clock here, and I want you to do as many reps as you can in 2 minutes. It doesn't matter how many you do this time. We're getting kind of a baseline to work from going forward. You might feel you're ready for a higher level. Do level 1 this first time. Just make sure the form's proper. 3, 2, 1, go. So shoulder width apart, body weight's on my heels. I can wiggle my toes the whole time. Down until my thighs parallel to the ground. My body weight's on my arms, or some of it is. Pull myself back up until I'm straight. 1. You can go faster if you'd like, but don't sacrifice the form. Your chest is up, your back is straight. I want you to see full range of motion. That's why you've got this arm assist here. It may feel uncomfortable to go too low, but the goal is to get a full range of motion. You want to go until your thighs are parallel to the ground, and then drive back up, pushing through your heels. My toes are up in the air. I can wiggle them the entire time. And up. It doesn't matter how many. I think I've only done 4 or 5, but we've got 45 seconds into this. We've got 1:15 left. Just making sure I'm doing this properly. Stringing a few together here now. I'm getting the motion. This is a great thing to have a buddy watch you. just to make sure your form's right. You don't want to come up on your toes. If you are, it means you're leaning forward too much. You're putting undue strain on your knees, on your lower back. Body weight on your heels is the most important thing. Keep your chest up, body weight on your heels. We have 40 seconds left. Proper form is so essential on all of these movements, but if I had to pick a movement to make sure, to guarantee everybody did right, it would probably be the squat. It's a real foundational movement. It's part of everything else we do. And if you have strong hips, strong legs, strong lower back, such that you can do proper form squat, everything else is going to be a lot better off. So we have 10 seconds left. Even though I'm not killing myself here, I'm feeling it because proper range, full range is great. 2, 1, and stop. Okay, fantastic. You've just scored your first movement with M20 Fitness. Congratulations. That was the squat at level 1. There's an iPhone app that lets you track it, and you simply slide the bar at level 1 to indicate the number of reps you did, and that will record it for you and track your progress going forward. If you don't have the iPhone app yet, you just want to write it down on a piece of paper, that's great too. But that is the squat. I want you to get a drink of water and get ready for the second movement that we're going to do, which is the sit-up. Now this too comes in 3 levels. We're going to score it at level 1. I'm going to get this beam out of the way because I don't need it in your view anymore. And then I'll bring in this case, a dumbbell, because for level 1 squats, level 1 sit-ups, my feet are anchored. You can tuck your feet under a weight like I'm doing. You can tuck them under a couch. You can have a friend hold them. And then what level 1 sit-ups is simply a crunch. So I'm just going to get my shoulder blades off the ground. My arms are pointing just above my knees and back down for a rep. Shoulder blades up and back down for a rep. So it's a real focused core movement. Again, you probably might be able to do full range of motion sit-ups at level 2 or level 3. Do level 1 with me today just to get a feel for where you are, and then you can advance from there. So just like before, we're going to score as many reps as we can at level 1 here in 2 minutes. So I'm going to start the timer. 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm just bringing my shoulder blades up off the ground and back down. Holding it up there for a split second and back down. My arms stay pointed just over my knees the entire time. My feet are anchored. Great job at home. I know you think, oh, it's just level 1. You know, a few of these with good form and your core feels it, your abs feel it. Especially if you just hold it for that split second at the top and then lower it back down. Up, and hold it, and back down. We're 45 seconds into it. Great job at home. Keeping track of our count. A lot of people say they lose count of how many reps they've done. Very common. If you have a buddy doing it with you, alternate turns, let them count for you. If you're doing it on your own, do your best to remember what number you're on. We've got 45 seconds left now. I'm really feeling this. I feel like, you know, I can do level 2 sit-ups. I can do level 3 sit-ups. So level 1 is no easy walk in the park, trust me. I'm feeling this in my chest. I'm feeling this in my neck. That's great. Your whole upper body core is really getting it. I'm even feeling a touch of it down my hip flexors. 20 seconds left. Great job. 10 seconds left. As always, if you need to rest, please rest. But we try and work for the whole 2 minutes as best we can. And that's 3, 2, 1, and stop. Excellent job. After the sit-ups, I always like to do a little counter stretch. Just kind of make sure those muscles don't get too tight on me. But it's a fantastic job. Now you scored 2 movements in M20. Only 18 more to go. Again, if you're using the iPhone app, feel free to enter that by sliding the bar at level 1, or go ahead and write down your reps, and we're gonna get ready for the third exercise, which is the push-up. Now, level 1 of the push-up is doing it against the wall here. So what I'm gonna do is stand with my feet about a foot or two away from the wall. My hands will be out in front of me with my arms straight, and I lower myself down and push myself away. If I wanna make it more difficult, I slide my feet further away so that more weight's on my arms. And to make it easier, of course, you stand closer to the wall, and more of your body weight will be on your legs, and it'll be less work for your arms. So make sure your abs are feeling okay after those. Give your arms a little shake. I hope you're getting a sip of water. We're gonna get ready to score the push-up here. Again, you probably could do level 2, which is push-ups from the knees, or level 3. Start with level 1. Just make sure you're getting full range of motion, straight arms when you're locking out, and all the way down as far as you can, ideally until your chest hits the wall. Sometimes that's hard with your head getting in the way, but down as far as you can, and then push away to lock out for a rep. Okay? So I'm going to start the clock for 2 minutes. We're going to score movement number 3, the push-up. 2, 1, go. So just nice and steady. Got a little bit of body weight on my arms. Locking my elbows out for a full rep. I'm finding this easy, so I'm going to step back a little bit, which makes it a touch harder. I'm going just until my face is about to hit the wall and pushing back. This, like the sit-up, looks amazingly easy at first, but if you make sure you're doing full range of motion, locking your arms out, coming down as far as you can, pushing back out, and you're just slow with proper form, your triceps start to feel it. I've got a nice burn going. I'm going to pause for a second and shake it out. Nothing wrong with that. We got 1 minute and 5 seconds left. Shake my arms out for a second, and I'm going to get some more reps in. Nice full range of motion. Make sure you're all the way down, and then in particular at the top, lock out those straight arms. Even hold it for a second. If it's getting too hard, step a little closer to the wall, and that will put more body weight on your legs and less on your arms. But the full range of motion and proper form still apply. So great job at home. If you need to rest again and shake it out, feel free. Those triceps maybe haven't been worked for a while. Even if they have, you know, this is a great movement that really works those muscles well. We've got 15 seconds left. I'm gonna get a few more reps in. And time. Excellent. You have now scored 3 of the M20 movements. We're going to get ready for movement number 4 here, the one leg balance. But go ahead and stretch those arms out for a second. I want you to drink a little bit of water. And while you're doing that, I'll get ready I'll tell you about the one leg balance. So this, as the name states, is about balancing on one leg. Level 1 is using a wall for your balance support. Level 2 would be just a PVC pipe or a cane or a broom handle. And level 3 is nothing at all, so it's all about the balance at that point. But I'm going to use the wall for nice stability. And the goal is to keep one of your legs with the thigh parallel to the ground. So you're using your core, and you'll feel this after the sit-ups, you're using your hip flexor, and as much as possible, you're balancing on that other leg. I'll use the wall, but I'll occasionally let go just for a second to kind of get a feel for what it's like. And the muscles, the small muscles on your balancing leg are firing, trying to maintain your balance. It's an excellent movement. Scoring this one's a little bit different. You've got 60 seconds, well, 120 seconds total, and we're going to dedicate 60 seconds to each leg. So the highest score you could get is 120, the number of seconds you're holding the one leg balance. The more you rest, the more you spend seconds. If you're here and you have to rest for a few seconds to shake it out, your number of seconds in the position go down, and so your score goes down. And hopefully that'll make sense as we're doing it. But why don't you go ahead and start with me. I'll start the timer and walk you through how to score it. 2, 3, 2, 1, go. So I've got one leg up. I'm starting with my left leg, thighs parallel to the ground. And for every second I hold this position, I'm getting a point at level 1 because I'm using wall assist. Now if I begin to get tired, which I am, I may feel the need to put my leg down or stretch the hip out a little bit, the hip flexor, the core. And then however many seconds approximately that I'm not in this position, those are seconds that don't go against my score. So I'm at 30 seconds in, I'm gonna stretch for a little bit here. Put that leg back behind me, get my hip flexor, maybe a little leg swing. And let's see, now that was 120. I'm gonna put it back in. So I spent 10 seconds resting. I'm gonna get 50 points or 50 seconds worth of the one leg balance, assuming I hold it for the rest of that first minute. This is all from my left leg up. It's 1 minute on one side and then 1 minute on the other. So we've got 3 seconds left, 2, 1, switch legs. Excellent. So that hip flexor over here was really burning. Now we've got a fresh leg up in the air. We've got 60 seconds in which to hold this. I've got 50 seconds worth of score on my left leg. Now my right leg's up in the air. I'm gonna try and hold that for as much as I can of the second minute. And we're 22 seconds in so far. Great job. Like the first minute, I'm not gonna be able to hold this entire thing, so I have 30 seconds in. I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna shake it out, swing that leg, drag the foot back behind me. I'm gonna use a full 10 seconds or so, and there's 20 seconds. I'm gonna get back into position. So if I maintain this for the rest of the minute, I'll have 50 seconds on this leg and 50 seconds on this leg. My score is 100 seconds out of 120. Very respectable. If you're resting longer, no problem. Your score is however many seconds you hold this position. And that's time. Excellent. So remember, it's 1 minute on each leg, and then however many minutes you hold the position, or how many seconds you hold the position, that's your score. So I have 50 and 50, score of 100 on the iPhone app. I slide that out to 100 at level 1, and we have scored our 4th movement. Congratulations. Okay, now we're gonna switch gears and get ready for the challenge. The challenge is a fun thing that's part of every movement plan. It's different every time. Sometimes you're trying to complete it as fast as possible. Sometimes in a fixed amount of time, you're trying to do as many reps as you can. It's always different, and it's a fun thing for you to do. And frankly, you get bragging rights with your friends. It's supporting and encouraging each other to get the exercise you know you want. But let's face it, there's a little bit of fun in pushing each other too. So we have a complete as fast as possible. We're going to do 3 rounds. A round consists of 20 jumping jacks, and so I'll introduce another movement for you, where we do 20 jumping jacks, and then 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, and 10 push-ups. And that's a round. So we do that 3 times. 20 jumping jacks, 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups. And then back up to the top, 20, 10, 10, 10. So I'm gonna set my post back up. I forgot we were coming back to the squats. I'm gonna get ready to do the challenge, and I'll work the timer with you on this. So see you in a sec. Okay, so we're ready for the challenge now. I've got my squat assist for the arm assist at level 1. I've got my weight here where I'm gonna tuck my feet in for the sit-ups, and then the push-ups, I'm gonna do those against the wall over here. So it's level 1 of those 3 movements plus the jumping jack. And the jumping jack is simply with your feet stationary, raise your arms up over your head and back down for a rep. And as you can imagine, there's level 2 and level 3 of that as well, but we're sticking with level 1 for these intro classes. So it's 3 rounds. Each round is 20 jumping jacks, 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups. The maximum amount of time you can use is 15 minutes, but ideally it's sooner than that. I'm gonna start my clock here. If you have a stopwatch at home, start yours too, because you may wanna know how much time has elapsed when I'm not announcing it here. Or you may finish at a time when I'm not telling you, and you wanna know exactly when you finish, because that is your score for today's challenge. All right, so I'm gonna start the clock, and we're gonna get after your first M20 challenge. 3, 2, 1, go. So we're starting with 10 jumping jacks. This is good to get the heart rate up a little bit. If you're ahead of me, go right to the squats. If you're behind me, just keep going with your jumping jacks. But now I'm gonna get ready for 10 squats. So I get into position. Remember, my body weight's on my heels, my chest is up, my back is straight. I'm using my arms as needed to pull myself back up. I stand all the way up at the top to complete the rep. We're just gonna do 10 perfect squats at level 1. And that's 1 minute into it. So great job. If you're still doing squats, keep going. I'm gonna move on to the sit-ups here. If you're ahead of me, keep going. You've kind of got the routine now. 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups, and then back to the jumping jacks. All right, that's my sit-ups. Now the push-ups. I'm spending a little extra time in the transition, but as you're trying to complete this as fast as possible, don't waste time in the transition. Get right to that next movement, knock it out as fast as you can. If you need to rest though, go ahead and rest. Drink some water. So I'm just making sure I lock my arms out on the push-ups and get nice full range of motion, and that's 1 round. Now I'm gonna come back for 20 more jumping jacks. I'm gonna go right into it. Arms are a little bit heavier this time, you know, after some push-ups. You can go right into the jumping jacks, and that's by design. You might be used to workouts where you do, I don't know, 10 reps of something, and then you rest for a while. And you do your second set of 10 reps. And that's definitely not the idea here. You want to get your heart rate up a little bit, and you want to move through the movements while doing proper form, of course, but you want to move through the movements quickly. And the whole idea is you're getting a great workout because of it. Much more efficient, much better use of your time, a lot more fun, frankly. And the results are awesome. Okay, so I'm done with my jumping jacks and into my squat. Nice full range of motion. And that's 3 minutes. I'm seeing on my clock, 3 minutes now. Remember, body weight on your heels, back straight, chest up. Great job. Squats. Doesn't matter where you are, just keep going in the same pattern. 3 rounds, 20 jumping jacks, 10 squats, 10 sit-ups, 10 push-ups. 20, 10, 10, 10. Sometimes you might do an extra one. Hey, extra credit, good for you. Right into the push-ups after the sit-ups. Making sure my arms lock out in between each rep. Get nice full range of motion. If it's too easy, step out a little bit. If it's too hard, step closer to the wall. All right, that's 2 rounds for me. Maybe you're already doing your jumping jacks, or maybe you're done, or maybe you're still in the first round. It doesn't matter. This is your challenge. You're just gonna work through these series of movements as fast as you can. So, my arms are feeling it after 2 rounds of push-ups. These jumping jacks are heavy, but it's 20 jumping jacks. For me, this is my 3rd and final round. I'm just starting. So I can see the finish line. I'm gonna try and pick up my pace a little bit. Even though it's hurting, I wanna get through it. We are almost 5 minutes into the workout. Keep breathing, nice deep breaths. All right, I got my jumping jacks, knock out my squats. My body weight's on my heels, my chest is up, my back is straight. I can wiggle my toes throughout the whole movement. Excellent. Got 10 sit-ups and 10 push-ups left here. All right. And then for me, 10 push-ups left. Doesn't matter where you are in the challenge. Maybe you're already done, congratulations. Maybe you're still working on round one. Great job. Rest as much as you need. It's as fast as possible, completing it as fast as possible for you. Excellent. So I did that in 6 minutes and 22 seconds. That would be my score on the iPhone app against this challenge. I'd be able to slide the movement bar, the scoring bar until I got to that much time. And that's my score. Whatever time you finish it in is your score. And again, this is about supporting and encouraging your buddies to get the exercise you know you want. But if you did it faster than your friend, let them know about it. It's a little bit of competitive camaraderie, and that's a great way to keep your motivation up, to make sure you're doing these exercises and getting after the next movement plan. So that's 7 minutes. What I'm going to encourage you to do is pause this video if you need to, and I'm going to start phasing us into the cool down, the fourth part of every movement plan. I'll walk you through the cool down next, but make sure you have some water, make sure you're feeling like you've completed the challenge. If you're still working on that, keep going. But go ahead and pause the video now. And then when you're done with the challenge, note the time. We're at 7:33 right now. Note the time and join me for the cool down. Excellent job doing your first movement plan challenge. That's one of my favorite ones. It's pretty down and dirty. Now that you get the feel for it, you can understand how to push yourself to go faster and where you're comfortable, and all those movements will get better for you. If they were too easy, there are higher challenges for you. But regardless, it's going to be a great first movement plan. We'll wrap up every movement plan with a cool down. So if you'll join me, sit down on the floor with your legs straight in front of you. And we're just going to do a little hamstring stretch. So reach forward. My hands are my shins, which is fine. If you can get your toes, superstar. We'll hold that for a second. And then what I want you to do is open up your legs about 90 degrees and take your torso and twist it towards one leg and reach down as far as you can. If you can grab that toe, again, superstar. I can barely get past my knee, but hey, that's a stretch for me. I'm gonna hold this for a few seconds. Excellent. We'll bring it back and twist the torso to the other foot and down on that foot. Great job with today's challenge. And what's really exciting about M20 in my mind is that challenge, you may never see it again. It'll be something completely different next time. All right, back up to the center. Take your left arm and come up over your head and reach down towards your right toe. With your right arm, if you want to kind of grab your left knee to give you some support and help you twist. It's a great way to do this stretch. But the next movement plan, or the intro class number 2, we'll introduce a few new movements and score those. And then we'll have a totally different challenge. Since these are just sitting on the YouTube channel for M20 Fitness, I recommend having at least one day of rest in between the movement plans. So if you're just getting started and you can see the movement plan sitting on the YouTube channel playlist, do one, start with one, and then take a day off. And then you're ready for the second class. And again, take a day off in between each of them. Excellent. We're gonna pull one foot across your knee and just give that ankle a little rotation. Rest days are very important with exercise. Some people jump in really hard and don't let their body recover, and you're frankly just cutting yourself short. You're not getting the full impact. The rest days are just as important. Now hug your knee and pull it towards your chest. The rest days should involve stretching if you'd like, if you really want to do something. Stretching, this cool down routine's nice, the warm up routine's nice. Drinking lots of water is also a great idea. All right, now I want you've got that knee hugged towards your chest, put that elbow, opposite elbow, so in my case my left elbow is outside my right knee, and I'm going to twist my body away. Excellent. Now we'll do the same thing with the other leg. So bring that ankle up across your knee, and we'll just twist it a little bit. Rotate it in one direction and the other. You see, I spent a lot of time warming up and stretching the ankles, the lower extremities. Super important as part of your balance and agility for not just the movements, but everyday life. So I really like to make sure those extremities are working well, they're firing properly, they're talking to your brain. Hug that knee now, pull it towards your chest. Not only does that give you more confidence in how you move your body through space, but it's going to help you avoid a fall, a trip. You'll see some of the movements coming up are all about regaining balance after you've done something with your body. And it's great training. If you trip in the future after you've been doing M20, I hope you'll have the ability to recover and avoid injury. And in the end, doing exercise is all about making sure your body's healthy for the journey that's ahead of you. We're going to twist away. My right elbow is on the outside of my left knee. Excellent. All right, we did some great work on our abs. So we're going to go ahead and get in this position. I've heard this called cobra. I've heard it called upward dog. I know there's a slight difference between the two. I apologize to the people who know yoga well if I butcher any of the names. The idea is stretching out the core muscles, the abdominal muscles here. Maybe a little twist to the left and twist to the right. And then we're going to kick it up to downward dog. I remember this one. I feel this in my calves, my hamstrings, my lower back. I want you to just slowly walk your hands back to your feet and bend those knees, and we can lift ourselves up. We're going to get a little upper body stretch, so take your right arm and pull it across your chest. Grab it with your left arm. Just get a nice twist in there. I like to rotate my wrist a little while I'm in this position. We'll do the same thing on the other side. You know, much like the warm-up, there are a lot of great stretches you can do. So these are some that I recommend. If you've got your own cool-down routine, feel free to do that instead of this. Just make sure you stretch the body overall, and especially spend some time stretching. So with your right hand, try and touch it onto your back behind your head, and with your left hand, grab that right elbow and you can pull down on it. You especially want to try and get a little extra time on those muscles that you worked. So we did some nice push-ups. So I'm making sure I really stretch that tricep out. We're going to do the opposite. So my left hand is down on my back, behind my neck, and my right hand pulls on that left elbow. All right. Great job with today's movement plan. You should feel great about yourself. Remember, take at least one day off before you join me for the second class. All 6 classes will take you through every movement once, so you get familiar with all the movements. But if you'd like to see any of the movements and have further instruction on them, check out the movement videos that are on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the iPhone app, go into the Fit Decks and you can see all 20 movements, and you dive into any of those and you can see the movement videos. Either way, you start to get more familiar with all these 20 movements. The movement plans get a little bit more fun, a little bit more challenging, but you move through them more quickly. So this was class 1 of 6. We'll see you at number 2. Remember, keep moving.